I can't get Facebook to work, so we'll have to try that on another day. Okay. So welcome everyone to today's training or workshop on failed actuarial exams. We're going to be talking about the three things that you can, or the three common reasons that people fail their exam and what you can do to make sure that's not an issue for you next time around. So please let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me, and then we'll get started. Right down below this video, if you're on the Zoom call or the emails I sent you, there's a button right down below that says chat, and that's where you can let me know if you can hear me and see me. Just please put a quick comment in there and let me know so that I know that everyone can hear me and see me. If you're on YouTube, you can also let me know. I'm not 100% sure if that's working or not, but if you can hear me on YouTube, let me know in the chat area. That would be great. Okay. Can you hear me? So everyone joining us right now, please let me know if you can hear me and see me. No audio. Okay, okay, now hopefully the audio is working. Can you all hear me? Ali, can you hear me now? I did some changes and hopefully you can hear me now. It says you can on my end. If you're on live stream and YouTube, okay, awesome. Craig from Australia can hear me and see me. Great. Thank you on YouTube. Okay, Nancy says you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, so today's training workshop is going to be all about the common reasons that people fail actuarial exams and what you can do to make sure that those issues aren't a problem for you. So I know a lot of you are here today just because you have recently failed an actuarial exam, and I know it can be disappointing. You probably worked so hard, studied a lot, and still the results weren't in your favor at the end. So let me know if you're writing exam P or FM and when you're planning to take those exams again. Let me know in the chat. Oh, and if you have any questions, I will try to keep an eye on the chat, but there is a Q&A button if you're watching on Zoom. There's a Q&A button right below the chat. You can use that to ask me questions, and that's where I'm going to be looking primarily for questions from you guys. So please use that. On the YouTube live stream, I'll try to answer in the chat if I can, if I see them. Okay. So let's get started here. I think you can hear me and see me. If you can't, I'll type it one more time. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, so for those of you that don't already know me, I'm Brea from Actuarial, and I have spent many years studying for actuarial exams. I went to school for actuarial science in Waterloo. So I'm from Canada, and I went to the University of Waterloo, got a bachelor's degree in actuarial science, and then I passed a lot of exams, and I started working in a life insurance company here in Canada. And that is basically my whole career summed up into just a few sentences. But now what I do is I help people just like you to pass exam P and FM, which are the first two actuarial exams that anyone should take if you're planning to work as an actuary in Canada or the US. So I've been doing that for about 2.5 to 3 years now. I've helped hundreds of people with their exams. So that's why I've been able to gather all this data and learn what prevents people from passing. And obviously I did these exams myself too. So I learned from that as well. And now I'm gathering all that information and going to share it with you guys right now today and show you what you can do to make sure that these issues and problems that most people run into, make sure that they're not a problem for you when you retake your exam or maybe you take it for the first time. So I know, like I was already saying before, failing is the worst feeling. You study so hard for your exam. You spend hundreds of hours. Many people spend hundreds of hours studying. they're difficult. And if you go to that exam, you have a lot of hope and confidence that you're going to pass, but then you get to the end and you see that message that says, sorry, you are not successful in passing your exam. It's really a disappointing feeling. You feel sad, you feel upset, you might feel like giving up. I felt like giving up when I failed my first exam. But they're hard. They're very difficult exams. And there's really not much support for people that are trying to get through them. It's difficult to know how to study for these exams. And like I said, when I took my very first exam, it was exam P, I ended up failing it. I didn't know, like, I'll talk more about this, but I just didn't know how to study for it properly. I didn't know whether I was ready for the exam or not, and I just didn't fit in enough study time. And all that combined together resulted in a fail for my first exam. But we're going to talk a lot more about that today. So, okay, awesome. You guys can hear me now. Perfect. Yeah, if you're having trouble hearing me, not that you can hear this, but I guess it doesn't matter what I say. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the 3 top reasons that people fail their exams and what you can do to prevent them next time around. At the very end, everyone that's here is going to get my complete list of all the free practice problems for exam P and FM that are available online. So you'll only get that if you stay until the very end. I actually also meant to set up a page because I am doing a $30 giveaway for a $30 study material giveaway that you can use towards anything you want to purchase for study materials. You can use it in the study strategy program, which is where I help people that are taking exam P and FM. You can use it on study materials like ADAPT or ACTEX or ASM or TAA, whatever you want. I'm doing a draw at the very end for that. One person will get $30 credit toward any study materials that they want. So I completely forgot to set that up. I'm going to just put a link where you guys can go fill out the form and make sure you are eligible for that. So just take a second and I'll put it in the chat. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that right now because it's going to take too much time. I will send out an email to everyone that registered for this and actually showed up. I'll send out an email so you can enter yourself into that, and I'll pick someone later because it's going to take me too long to figure that out, and I completely forgot to get it set up for you. So sorry about that. But you will have to stay till the end to get my free resources and to be eligible for that $30 giveaway for study materials. Okay, so before we get started, I did write some notes on my screen. So if you see me looking over there, that's why. I don't want to forget to tell you guys anything. And there's a lot for you guys to know, and there's a lot for me to tell you. And yeah, if I don't write it all down, I'm going to forget. So that's why I'm looking at my screen. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep this to about 1 hour. So there's not going to be time for everything. At the end, I'll show you how you can join the study strategy program. Actually, right now, I'm having a Pi Day discount because today is March 14th, Pi Day, 3.14. So there's a Pi Day discount on the study strategy program. So you can get 6 months for just $314, which is a really good deal because it's usually $425. So you'd be saving $111 on that. And I'll show you all about the study strategy program and how it can help you later. Anyway, okay. So let's get into these 3 things that typically cause people problems. I'm going to go backwards from the 3rd most common thing to the number 1 most common thing. That will be at the end. So the number 3 most common thing that cause people to fail their exams is that they're trying to do this alone. They're trying to study for actuarial alone. Outside of school, you probably don't have many. If you are still in school, maybe you do have some other friends that are taking actuarial exams too. But it's pretty common to be in a course where there's no one else taking these exams. So outside of school, you probably find it difficult to explain to your friends and family what you're doing. They may not understand why you have to spend so much time studying. They don't understand the difficulties and the struggles that you're going through, and they just don't understand the language and the terminology. So when you try to do this all alone, it can be really difficult because you just feel like you're in a big bubble and no one else really understands you. And to be successful as an actuary, you're going to want to have a group of people that are there to support you, motivate you, and keep you going, because these exams are tough. Becoming an actuary is a long journey. So you're going to want to have those people and friends around that surround you that are doing the same thing as you. So let me know in the chat if when you studied for your exam last time, did you have a group of friends to study with? Let me know in the chat. Hi, Timothy from the US on YouTube. Okay. Let me know in the chat. Right down below the video, there's a button you can click. It says chat. And you can let me know if you had a group of friends to study with and prepare for while you were studying for your last exam. Because most people don't have that community, that group of really close friends and family that they can go to with your actuarial problems. So it can feel really lonely. It can feel difficult and stressful. But that's why when you're studying, you're going to need to get a group of friends or just acquaintances that are going through the same thing as you. So actually, just as an example, when I was studying for my first exam, like I said, I really didn't have anyone at all. But once I would say my first time actually feeling this connection, this group of other people that knew what I was talking about, was when I started working in my first full-time job. So when I started working, there were probably about 40 other people that were going through the actuarial exams at the same time as me. They weren't all taking the exact same exam, but some were way ahead of me, some were below me, taking earlier exams. So it was really nice to have that range of people there to guide me and support me. The people that were ahead of me, I always felt comfortable going to ask them questions and get advice from them. The people that were writing earlier exams than me, they could do the same for me. And even though they were taking exams that were like the earlier exams, they were still there to motivate me, keep me going. And I hung out with these people for 40 hours a week, like a full work week. Every day I was with these people. They understood me. They knew what I was going through. They knew the common struggles and the difficulties. So that was the first time I really experienced this, and it made such a huge difference for me. And another example, a really good example, is just in the study strategy program. There's a WhatsApp group full of over 200 other people that are taking the exam at the exact same time. Okay, so there's over 200 people in the program. They may not all be in that group, in the WhatsApp group, but basically WhatsApp, if you don't know, it's kind of like a big Facebook Messenger or a big group text chat kind of thing. So the WhatsApp group that is in the program, there's so many people in there, all working on exam P and FM. And they're constantly asking each other questions, getting help, asking advice, motivating each other, and keeping each other focused, pushing through the difficult times. And it's really just an encouraging group of people. So to have that, all those people helping and supporting you on your exam is going to make a huge difference. So if you were trying to do this alone last time, the first thing you need to do is go find someone or a group of people that are there to guide you, support you, and motivate you. It doesn't have to be in person. That would be great if you could find a group of people that were in your city or something like that. But you can also talk online. You can do video messaging. You can text. You can join a WhatsApp group. All these resources are really beneficial. Okay, so do any of you have questions about that? Right down below, there's a Q&A button that you can click. That's where I'll be answering questions. So if you have any questions at all during today's workshop, you can use that to ask, and I will be looking for them there. If you're on YouTube, you can put them in the chat area. Okay, no, on YouTube, we have Innocent saying that they didn't have anyone to study with when they were taking their exam the last time around. Okay, I don't see any questions from any of you. So if you do have any, write down below the video. There's a Q&A button you can click. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Okay, so one question I do commonly get about this is, how do you find the most to even start studying again? I know it's the worst feeling to spend all that time studying and it not work out. It can be extremely demotivating. But the actuarial career is a long journey. Almost everyone fails these exams, so you have to keep going. And if you need the motivation to start studying again, the number one place I would look is to a group of others that are going through this exact same thing as you. Unfortunately, your family and friends, they're probably not going to understand because they haven't had to do this before. They're not doing it right now. Many of them probably have never studied for exams that were so difficult. And without that, you just feel like you're doing it alone. And that's why having this group of people will help you stay motivated, even after you fail an exam. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. Oh, one on YouTube here. So Callum says, would you recommend doing a post-grad course to gain exceptions or go straight into a job? So that's not entirely related, but I'll answer it quickly. Usually I don't recommend doing postgraduate actuarial courses just because I think it's a more efficient and effective use of your time to start working on the exams, pass them. It's probably going to take you less time to study for and pass an actuarial exam than it would take you to go through a whole course in grad school, just to get those exam exemptions. And actually, I think you can only get those exemptions in Canada. So if you're not in Canada, that's not even an option for you. But yeah, I would definitely recommend just passing the exams. Also, by passing the exams right now, you're learning how to actually pass actuarial exams. So later on, when you can't get those exemptions, you'll know how to study better. You'll have a better foundation on how to study for these exams, and that will really help you in passing the later ones. Okay. Oh, now I have some questions. Wendy says, I'm starting to study for exam P, which I will take at the end of May. Do you think that is enough time to study? Okay, so usually I recommend at least 14 weeks to fully prepare for an exam, Wendy. So if you're just starting right now, that means I would highly suggest you take the exam in July instead of May. Members of the study strategy program, from experience, I've learned that it takes at least 14 weeks for most of them, and that's studying for about 3 hours a day. And actually, if you join the study strategy program in less than 4 weeks or 14 weeks, there's not a pass guarantee. But if you join with more than 14 weeks left until your exam, then I do a pass guarantee where if you don't pass your exam, I actually pay for your next exam registration fee, which is $250. But that's because I know that the people that are taking less than 14 weeks are really going to feel rushed. They're probably not going to have enough time to be fully prepared. So there's always exceptions, but in general, I've seen that it takes at least 14 weeks. So I would recommend July for you, Wendy. And there's one more here. I'm taking the exam next year. I live in Puerto Rico, and almost everyone doesn't even know what an actuary is. Yes, that's very common everywhere. Even here in Canada, whenever I tell people that I was an actuary or that I worked in an actuarial role, they'll look at me and say, what is that? So it's really common not to have people know what you actually do. So what advice do you give me when literally no one even knows what I'm going through? So this is the perfect question for what we talked about, right? We need that community of other people that are going through the same thing as you. I actually have a Facebook group full of other people going through exam P and FM. So that's a really helpful group you could join. But also in the study strategy program, you can get access to the WhatsApp group full of just members. It's only members that are allowed in that group. So they're really motivating because they're going through the process that I actually set out for these exams. So basically I have a whole process. I know exactly what you need to be doing every single day to prepare for your exam, and they're going through that exact same thing. So in that way, it's really helpful to join even a smaller, more tight-knit group. But if that's not something you're interested in, then maybe a Facebook group of other people that are going through the same things as you. It can be really difficult to find people that know what you're talking about, so I totally understand. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, so number 2 reason that people most commonly fail their exam is because they don't know how to prepare for the exam properly. So this is such a big problem. It was a problem for me, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but like when I was studying for my exam, I was doing it all alone. I didn't have any guidance. I basically bought some study materials and I was given them and I was on my own. I had no idea how to use them. And these exams are much more difficult than any other exams that you've ever probably taken before. There's so much more material than is on a regular exam. And the biggest issue is that they are self-study. There isn't a professor that you can go and ask questions to. There's not a professor that can explain things to you in a different way. There aren't any due dates and guidelines that are helping you get through all the material. And it's really weird that it's a multiple choice test too. For a math exam, that never happens. So like these exams are really difficult. And when you've never prepared for an actuarial exam, it's like impossible to know what you need to do. It's a really difficult thing to get around because you're starting this new journey. You're trying to pass an exam, but it's something you've never done before. So without having someone there to guide you in the right direction, you're basically using a trial and error approach. You're using the same techniques that you've used in the past and hoping that they work, but unfortunately, a lot of the time they don't. And that's part of the reason that pass rates for actuarial exams are so low. If you haven't looked at them before, for both exam P and FM, which are the first 2 actuarial exams for anyone that wants to work in Canada or the US, the pass rates are about 50%. So that means that only half of the people that take the exam each month are passing it. So usually there are about 1,500 to 2,000 people taking the exam. So sometimes over 1,000 people fail. They're just so difficult. And that even includes people that are taking it for the second or third time, because you can retake an actuarial exam, but the percentage of people that are passing on the very first time around is pretty small. And you can just tell that because 50% are passing, and those include people that have taken this exam multiple times before. So passing on the very first attempt is fairly rare. But when I was studying for them, I did this all wrong. I didn't know what to focus on. I didn't know how well prepared I needed to be. I didn't know how I could judge if I was well prepared or not. And like I said, I was using a trial and error approach. And like I told you earlier, I failed that exam. So when you are studying for your exam, you need to have a solid study strategy, an effective plan, so that you know exactly what you're going to have to do every single day to get from wherever you are right now. Maybe you're just beginning. Maybe you've already studied for the exam once and you did certain things, and that's great, but you need to figure out a plan to get you from wherever you're at right now to being fully prepared on exam day. So let me know in the chat when you're planning to take your exam again, or if this is your first time, let me know when you're planning to take it for your very first time. So if you're not already aware, exam P and FM are offered on alternating months. So exam P is in January, March, etc., May, etc. And then FM is offered on the months in between. So let me know when you're planning to take your exam. Okay, so Redmi is registered to take the exam in April in India. So yeah, and wondering if it could get delayed or canceled. So it definitely could get delayed or canceled. It's really hard to tell now, but the SOA actually does have a web page all about this. I'd have to try to find it, but I'm sure it's pretty easy to find if you just Google that. And it will give you all the updates on cancellations and exam delays. If you've already registered for the exam, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that. Okay, let's check on YouTube. Okay, so Innocent plans to take it in July. Awesome. So exam P in July. Perfect. So really, you really need to come up with a plan so that you know what you're going to be doing every single day. Like I said, these exams are different. They're more difficult than you've probably ever had before. So the trial and error approach is what most people use. If you want to pass exams quickly, then you probably want to have someone there to guide you and support you so that you don't have to risk all as much. You don't have to have such a high probability of failing the exam. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but there is a high probability of failing when you're just trying to do the trial and error approach. So when I was studying for my exam, I failed. Like I said, I failed it the first time. I also failed it the second time. But on the third time, I finally passed and I got an 8. To pass exam P, you have to get at least a 6. So I got an 8, so I passed the exam. But it took me 1.5 years and 2 failed attempts, probably over $1,000, over 500 hours of studying just to finally pass exam P. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of money when you're just trying to use this trial and error approach. But once I passed the exam, I went on to pass my next exams the first time around. Not all of them, but the next 2, I passed them the very first time around. So once I had actually learned how to study for exam P, I learned a good foundation for actuarial exams and how to prepare for them. It was much easier to pass the exams the next time on my later exams. So that made a huge difference. So once you finally learn this strategy and this foundation that works, then you're going to be able to use that exact same formula for your future exams. So if you're taking exam P, once you learn that foundation and that strategy, you're going to be able to use the same exact methods for exam FM and exam IFM, the next 2 exams. Okay, and another example actually is Bobby. You may have seen his YouTube video. He did a video explaining how he passed exam P, and really what he talks about is how the first time he did it, he just had no idea how to prepare for the exam, and he actually for a little while gave up because he couldn't get past certain sections in the study material. But eventually he went through everything and tried to take the exam and just ended up failing. Like, it happens to so many people. It's a bad situation to be in. I know no one wants to, but it does happen. But once Bobby joined the study strategy program, he learned the techniques and the strategies that you need to build that foundation. And he went on to actually pass the exam the next time around. So really, once you learn that structure, you learn how to do it from someone that is ahead of you. Like, you can go ask other people that you know that have maybe taken these exams in the past, or join the study strategy program where I can guide you. But really, having that guidance and knowing exactly what you need to do every single day is going to make a huge difference. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about this? If you do, put them in the Q&A box right below the video on YouTube. I'll check in the chat. But really, this is such an important thing to do, is to have a plan and a strategy for how you're going to in 2 weeks. So Tucker, that's a really big problem for many people. In the study strategy program, one of the main things I do for a week, and I never want anyone to study on their break day, because you're able to do whatever you want or get other things done that have been on your mind and need to get done. It's really good to just schedule in that break day into your weekly schedule so that you don't have to think about studying every single day. And it might be difficult for you. You might have to force yourself not to study. You might have to force yourself not to think of it. You have to keep your mind on other things that interest you and that you want to be doing. But really, I found that for members of the study strategy program, that is the key to their success. Because if you are studying every single day and getting burnt out, you're just going to start dreading this whole thing. You're going to dread studying. You're going to not want to become an actuary. You're going to potentially give up on the career. And really, you need to make sure that you're giving yourself the self-care that you need. You need to have a fresh mind and be able to think clearly and stuff. So having that one break day every week is really beneficial. Okay. One more question here, and then we'll move on to the number one reason that people tend to fail their exams. So Yanyal is studying as an undergraduate. What courses do I recommend taking for exam P and FM? Okay, so this is a little off topic, but that's okay. I'll answer it quickly. So you'll want to take definitely courses in calculus, because exam P and FM both have a lot of calculus on them. P has a lot more. Any statistics courses you can take would be really beneficial. Algebra classes would be good. Anything like that would be the best for exam P and FM. I do have some resources on my website that you can go check out too. It's etchedactuarial.com. There's tons of blog posts there. Okay, let's move on to the number one reason people fail their exams. And that is probably something you could guess, maybe, but it's that they don't fit in enough study time. And oh my gosh, this was a killer for me. I know this was one of the biggest issues that I had, and so many other people have these problems because we're so busy. We've got so much stuff going on. It's difficult to fit studying into your daily life. So when I was studying for my first actuarial exam, I was working full-time as a housekeeper and a babysitter. I was trying to do courses online for school. I played in lots of recreational soccer leagues. Even now, I play soccer all the time. So I love the sport. I wanted to keep that in my life. I was trying to work out regularly and eat healthy. So it was basically a nightmare trying to keep up with all this stuff. I had so much going on. I was tired all the time because I never got enough sleep. I was stressed. And really, there's just so many things that were competing for my time. And that meant that a lot of the time, since my actuarial exam was so far away, like right now you guys are thinking maybe May or July or somewhere in there. It seems so far away right now. So it's easy to put studying off. And that's the worst thing you can do, because when you're studying for an actuarial exam, you have to stay consistent. So last time when you took your exam, think back and think, were you really busy at the same time you were trying to study for your exam? If you were busy when you were trying to study for your exam last time, or if you're trying to study right now and you're busy, put a comment in the chat and let me know what were the things that were holding you back from getting your studying done. What got in the way? Okay, so let me see. Okay, so family gets in the way sometimes. Like People want to hang out with you. Your family wants to see you. They want to know what you're doing. They want to keep up and stay in your life. So family, work. That's a common one that people run into. A lot of you are trying to study for actuarial exams while you're working. Maybe school is another big issue. So there are so many things that are competing for your time. I had one in another training I did similar to this. Someone said that their girlfriend was getting in the way of their studying. So girlfriends, boyfriends, they require time too. Everything is competing for your time. So it's really easy to put studying on the back burner. Okay, but think about this for a second. So when you have something due for your courses at school, it's usually your professor gives you an assignment, tells you it's due 2 weeks later. You probably don't start working on it until maybe a week or maybe a few days before it's due, but you get it done. Every day, or maybe 3 or 4 times a week, your instructor is doing classes. They're teaching, and you show up for all those classes, right? At your job, your manager is expecting you to have tasks done. You get them done on time. Your manager is expecting you to be at work at a certain time. You're there. So all these people are putting pressure on you. They're expecting things of you, and you get them done on time. Because if you don't show up for the class at school, or you don't show up for work, then there's going to be a problem. At school, you're not going to learn the material that you need to know. At work, you might get fired if you don't show up. So, so having those expectations and someone else that is there expecting you to have things done really makes a big difference in your life. And that's what I call accountability. Just a second. I need a drink. Okay. So that's what we call accountability. So having accountability built into your study strategy is so important for making sure that you fit in enough time, because you're busy. Maybe you have school, you have work, you have kids, you have family, and you're trying to study for an actuarial exam at the same time. Your exam's months in the future. So it's really easy to procrastinate and put studying on the back burner. But if you have someone there expecting you to have your studying done each day, then it's going to make a big difference, because someone else is actually relying on you to get things done. Just like how you go to your courses at school, you show up, you're there. You can't put that off. You can't delay it to a few days later or anything. There's one time you're expected to be there, and you're there. For work, you can't delay when you work. You have to be there every day that you're scheduled to work, and that's just how it works. People are expecting you to be there. And you need to have the same kind of system when you're studying for an actuarial exam if you're very serious about passing. This is kind of like the next step. This is what is going to make your study time go from maybe 2 or 3 hours a week, or maybe 5 hours a week, to the 15 to 20 hours a week that you actually need, is adding in that accountability. Because if someone else is relying on you to get it done, then you will make it more of a priority over other things that maybe aren't as important as your exam to you. And I'm sure that most of you are probably spending time on other things that you want to do, but aren't as big of a priority to you as your career. Becoming an actuary and passing these exams is your career. So maybe going on Facebook and browsing Facebook, or watching tons of YouTube videos isn't your top priority right now. I'm guessing your career is probably a very big priority for you. So to add in that accountability, it's really going to help you stay focused on what really matters to you right now. So let me tell you an example of Divya. She was a member of the study strategy program, probably late 2019, I guess around there. So when she joined the study strategy program, she had tried to pass her exam 3 times before. On her 4th time, she decided she's going to join the study strategy program because as a member of the program, we actually do accountability check-ins. So that means that twice per week, me or my team members are going right into your schedule, making sure you're on track with your studying. So that added accountability really makes a big difference. So when Divya joined, she knew that she was falling behind on studying. She wasn't getting things done. She was putting studying on the back burner. But for her 4th attempt, she joined the program and she stuck to her schedule because we were there checking in, making sure that she was held accountable. And on her 4th attempt, she passed her exam. She is busy just like everyone else. So having this accountability made a world of difference for her because she didn't have that flexibility for studying anymore. She wasn't able to procrastinate on it. Someone was there checking on her, making sure that she got it done. So that's what makes the difference for so many people in the study strategy program, is that they have that accountability, someone checking in just to make sure that they're getting their studying done consistently. You can't cram for actuarial exams. It won't work. You have to do some studying every single day and stay consistent with it to make sure that by exam day, you are ready. Okay, so let me know in the chat or in the Q&A box if you have any questions about this. The study strategy program, I don't know if I actually mentioned this earlier. The study strategy program right now, I'm having a Pi Day sale. So like I said earlier, today is Pi Day. It's March 14th. So there's a Pi Day discount on the study strategy program. You can get 6 months for $314. Usually it's $425. So you're saving $111 today. And you can get that. I'll put a link where you can go to check out the program if you'd like. Okay, I'll put this in the chat. So you can go there and use the discount code PIDAY. PIDAY to get it for the 6-month membership for just $314. It's only available today and tomorrow, but there are only 25 spots at that price. So make sure you get in early if you're interested in that. And actually, study strategy program prices are increasing on Monday. So if you join today, you're actually locking in your prices. You're getting a really good deal. 6 months in the membership in the program would actually be almost $600 after the price increases. So you can get them right now for $314 just using PIDAY. I'll put that in YouTube as well. Okay, study strategy program. You can go there to get it. Discount code PIDAY. So that'll get you the study strategy program for $314 for 6 months. Okay. So I'm going to take a few questions, if there are any, about what we just talked about. So yeah, I'll take some questions. Then I'm going to show you how you can get the help you need. I'll show you inside the study strategy program. Then I'll give everyone that link that I talked about with all the exam P and FM resources that are free online. And then I'll take a bunch more questions. I'll stay for another 10 or so minutes and answer questions and just anything you guys have. Okay, so Redme asks, do you suggest me to study for my exams along with a job after undergraduate, or take a break till I complete a bunch of exams? Okay, so ideally you will graduate with some exams passed already. That's the ideal situation. It is difficult to study for exams and also be in school, but a lot of people actually do this. They graduate with 2 or 3 exams passed already, and if in Canada, even more. So I would suggest you actually start studying now if you can, but if that's not an option for you, then try to find a job and study for exams at the same time after you graduate, because you need to be getting these exams out of the way as soon as possible. Most employers will want to hire someone that has at least 2 exams passed already. Some employers will consider someone with just 1 exam, but most want 2 exams passed. So it's really important to pass as soon as you can and pass quickly so that you can start getting those jobs. So I kind of like to use this analogy. I know it's difficult to prepare for these exams at the same time as you have so much other stuff going on, but an entry-level actuary will actually make about $50,000 or more per year. So that means at a minimum, someone is probably going to make about $4,000 and a bit each month as an actuary. So for every month that you are delaying your exam, you are kind of missing out on $400 or $4,000. So that's why it's so important to do whatever you can to pass exams quickly, invest in yourself, do whatever you can to just make sure you have the best chance of passing the first time around, because every time you delay your exam or every time you fail an exam, in a sense, it's increasing the amount of time until you can get a job. And like I said, $4,000 per month is not a small amount of money. So if pass exams as soon as you can, basically. Okay, one more question I see here from Allie. After taking 1.5 years to study for exam P, how long did it take you to study for FM and subsequent exams? I find myself needing about 1.5 years as well. I'm just wondering if 3 to 4 months of studying is a realistic expectation. Okay, so Allie, I'm not 100% sure. I'd estimate about 6 months for me, but I do want to let you know 3 to 4 months is realistic. In the study strategy program, all the time I have people preparing and passing their exam in that tight of a window. It might be that maybe you're not being able to fit in enough studying. And like I said, the accountability that you get in the study strategy program, it really makes a huge difference. It helps you keep on top of your studying every single day. And what I found is that when people are taking such long periods of time to prepare for their exam, it's usually because it's not getting the attention that it needs. And like I said, if you want to make sure that if this career is a priority for you, then passing these exams is something that you're going to want to do as quickly as you can. And you're going to want to make sure you have the best chance of passing each time around. So the study strategy program is really what I wish was around when I was studying for the exam. You get told what you need to do. I wish I had someone doing that for me when I was preparing. You'll know exactly what to do every single day. And having that on top of also having the WhatsApp group of everyone else there to support you, a community of other people, that and the accountability check-ins, it's like the perfect combination for anyone that's serious about these exams. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. Tucker asks, would you recommend looking for an internship after exam P, or should I focus on exam FM? I have a nice, comfortable job, but I don't know if the internship experience would outweigh that. Okay, Tucker, I don't know what your job is right now. If your job is related to an actuarial career in many ways, then your job would probably be where you should stay. If you are able to get an internship in an actuarial position, that's always a great option. The more actuarial experience you can get, the better. So I wouldn't recommend either studying for an exam or looking for an internship. I'd recommend doing both at the same time because that's what's going to accelerate your career the quickest. Okay, I'm going to answer lots more questions. And links are in the chat if you want to check out the study strategy program right now. You can get it for $314. That's such a good discount. Just use the discount PIDAY, P-I-D-A-Y. And yeah, you can get 6 months for $314, Pi Day discount. Okay, so let me show you guys a little bit about the study strategy program, what you're going to get, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, hopefully I can share my screen here. Okay, so the link I put in the chat is a link to this page. Basically, you're going to, it just runs through all the information about the study strategy program and what you're going to get. You're definitely going to want to have a quicker look at this, or another look at this, but we're just going to go through it quickly. So in the program, you're going to get a study strategy. So I've been helping people prepare for these exams for 2.5 to 3 years now. I prepared for these exams myself too. So I've really learned exactly what people need to do to be well prepared for exam P and exam FM. So by joining the study strategy program, you're basically going to get 3 years of the knowledge that has built up in my head, helping other people pass these exams. You're also going to be able to access me through email and my team. I'm always there for guidance and support. You can ask me questions about anything. It doesn't just have to be about studying for your exam. I'm here really to help you on your entire actuarial career. So there's so much to know about the career. I'd love to help you in finding a job, passing exams, and just answer any of your questions that you have about the career in general. So I'm always there for that. You're going to get your very own personalized study schedule so that you know exactly what you need to be doing every single day. That takes the guesswork out of studying completely for you. I've helped so many people do this, so I know that the tactics and the schedules that I create, they actually work. Let me show you one quickly here. So this is actually a member's workbook that they get when they join the study strategy program. This is an old one, but I just want to use it for you guys just to see what it would actually look like. So see, it's actually planned out for you day by day what you need to do to prepare. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting your studying or if you've already tried passing the exam in the past, you failed, and now you want to join the study strategy program. That's perfectly fine too. You'll still have specific tasks to complete every single day. And when you finish them, you can just use this little drop-down box below, mark it as complete, and that's how me and my team know which tasks you've completed. And I guess I'll just show you now. These orange days, the Monday and the Thursday of every week, are the accountability check-in days. So that's when my team and I go into your schedule and make sure that you're on track, keeping you accountable to your studying so you can stay consistent and you don't fall behind and you actually end up fitting enough time into your studying. Because like I said, that's not fitting in enough time is the number one reason that people fail their exams. Number 2 was because they don't know how to prepare. Well, this basically shows you exactly what you need to do every day to prepare. And number 3 was doing it alone. But by joining the study strategy program, you'll get the WhatsApp group. You'll be able to connect with everyone else in the program to guide you and support you, motivate you to stay consistent. Anyway, a few other things here. So you'll also get the weekly check-ins, which we talked about, performance tracking. So I actually have performance metrics set up in your workbook so that I can see how well you're performing on certain tasks, and I can make adjustments to your personal schedule based on how you're performing. So this is a huge benefit to being in the program because no one else is there to do that for you. You probably aren't sure how well you need to be performing or what you should do if you're not performing as well as you need to be. So I have these performance tracking metrics built right into your study schedule and your tasks so that I know how you're doing and I can adjust your personal schedule accordingly. There's also a math Q&A forum where you can ask any questions you have about the math content on the exams. Your questions always get answered within 24 hours, and you also get access to the WhatsApp group. So All this for 6 months is only $314. And actually, I've just added some more things here that I haven't even set up on here yet, but you're also going to get one monthly Q&A call with me. So that's where we do something just like this, but it's basically for only members of the program. They come on, they can ask any questions they have about the actuarial career. It could be about finding a job, passing their exams, what's their next step, how about Excel? How do we need to know Excel? All that kind of stuff you can ask in the monthly Q&A sessions with me. And lastly, a really cool feature that I just added in is group study sessions. So everyone taking exam P in the program is welcome to join in these weekly group study sessions. So you guys all kind of meet online. It's similar to this where you can see other people's faces and you guys can all study together, ask questions. They go through usually about 5 practice problems and everyone just helps each other understand. So those group sessions are really cool and they're new, so they're not even on here yet. And there's also the pass guarantee. So when you go to register for an SOA exam, there's a $250 registration fee that the Society of Actuaries charges. And you have to pay that fee no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's your first time or your second time or your third time taking the exam. Every single time they charge that fee. So I'm so confident that I can help you pass this exam that I have a pass guarantee where I will actually pay your next $250 exam registration fee if you aren't successful in the program. So if you decide to join today and you're planning to take your exam in July or later, you will qualify for the $250 pass guarantee. All you have to do is make sure that you don't fall more than 7 days behind schedule for that. Okay, so last little thing here, and then I'm going to take more questions and give you that complete workbook of that complete list of all the exam P and FM practice problems that are available online. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this really quickly. So in 6 months of the study strategy program, like I said, you're going to get your own personalized study schedule. You're going to get the Q&A forums. You're going to get personal guidance, advice, and check-ins from me and my team. You'll get access to the WhatsApp group, and the study sessions. You'll get the $250 pass guarantee. So let me put a value to all this because a lot of the time, it's really difficult to understand how much this can help you, how much it's actually worth. So a personalized study schedule is usually about $67. I've done just schedules before for people. I don't really prefer that because when you get a personal study schedule alone, you're just getting a schedule. It's not adjusted for your personal performance and how you're doing, and it's just not the ideal situation. So just to have a personalized study schedule is $67. That doesn't include any adjustments and everything like that. But then we're adding in the Q&A forums. Those are about $40 per month. I used to charge just for the Q&A forums, and I did $40 per month. So for 6 months in the program, that's worth $240. Okay, next is the personal guidance, advice, and check-ins. And this is huge, but it's really hard to quantify. So I kind of like to think of it as a personal trainer for fitness or working out. So if you think about it, you want to just go and hire anyone off the street to train you and help you reach your fitness goals. You want someone that has experience and education in that. You want someone with proven results. And you want someone that you can ask questions and is there for you. Someone to keep you accountable to your workout schedule, or in this case, your study schedule. And really, when you hire someone like that, you're getting years of knowledge. Just instantly, you're getting instant access to years of knowledge. So a personal trainer usually charges about $100 per week. So that's what I quantified this access to me and my team in the study strategy program. So in 6 months, you're getting $2,400 of value just in that. And it's such a huge part of helping people pass. It makes a huge difference. So you're also going to get the WhatsApp group and the study sessions. Those are really difficult to quantify. I'm not even sure if you can, because it just gives you so much more motivation and focus for your exams. It makes a huge difference for everyone in the program. It's such an awesome community of people working on the same thing as you are. So I put question marks for that one. And of course, the $250 pass guarantee, we'll say that's $250. So all that combined together is $2,957. But like I said, you can get 6 months today for $314 since it's Pi Day. And yeah, there are only 25 spots available at that price. And you can get that using the Pi Day discount. PIDAY is what you use in the coupon code checkout. Okay, and if you're like me, you want to see some testimonials. So I'll go through a few of those really quickly. There are tons on my Facebook page, but here are a few that I just pulled out. So Matt Boydston, he's been an awesome member of the study strategy program. He's been working with us for a while. So he says, as a career changer, I was worried about the exams and how to prepare. Brea helped me so much with passing the exams. She gives you a great study plan, checks in on you consistently to make sure you're understanding. She also gives great resources and questions. And with her help, he has been able to pass exam P, FM, and IFM all on the first try. Such a huge success story for Matt there. And next we'll go on to He has been a member for quite a while, since quite a while. Like, this was written in November of 2019. He was in the program and passed both exam P and FM within 5 months. So if you are serious about passing quickly, this is what the study strategy program is good for. So the study schedule held him accountable because he tends to procrastinate. And before studying in the study strategy program, he had failed exam P twice and FM once, but he passed both in the study strategy program. And one more here for you. Mike sent an email recently. He says, I'm happy to let you know I passed his exam today. It feels great to finally get it done, and he wants to extend his thanks as well for supporting him through these months. He wouldn't have been able to pass both exam P and FM without the study strategy program. And then he goes on to say that it developed an amazing foundation that will help him for actuarial exams in the future. So if this sounds like something that would be interesting and beneficial and helpful for you, then I highly recommend you consider joining the study strategy program. Okay, so links to this program are in the chat. For YouTube, I'll put another one in there quickly because the chat's moving quickly there. Pi Day. So all you have to do is use the Pi Day discount code to get it for 6 months for $314. And you guys saw the value there was almost $3,000. So you're getting an awesome deal. Prices are going up on Monday. So this is the time to lock in your prices, get in the program, and make sure that you're not affected by those higher prices. Okay. So now I said I would give you, oh, sorry guys, I don't think I am. Yeah, I'm not. You can't see me on video yet. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I said I would give you the download. So for everyone that's here, I'm going to put this in the chat. This is a link to tons of exam P and FM resources that are free online. I'll put those in the chat, free resources. I'm not going to be giving this out to anyone else that registered. You have to actually be here to get it. So make sure you get that and save it now. For YouTube, there you go. Okay, so go check that out. Now I'm going to just take a bunch of questions. I can stay here for about another 10 minutes, and I'll answer as many questions as I can. I'd love to have you in the study strategy program. I know it will be beneficial to help you pass your exam next time around. You're really conquering those 3 common problems that people have and the reasons that they fail their exam. So just really quickly, the third top reason was because you don't have a community, you don't have anyone else to help you keep motivated, no one that understands you really. Well, if that has been a problem for you, then you're definitely going to love the WhatsApp group that's included in the study strategy program and the group study sessions. The second top reason that people fail their exam is because not because they don't fit in enough study time, it's because they don't know how to prepare properly. Yes. So they don't know how to fully prepare properly for an actuarial exam. And that was such a huge problem for me. And that's really why I created the study strategy program. I was seeing people fail over and over and over again. And I just knew that if you follow a good plan and have a good structure in your studying, it's so much easier. So in the study strategy program, you'll get your own personalized study schedule so you know exactly what to do every single day. And lastly, the number one top reason is because they don't fit in enough study time. So in order to combat that, and if you're serious about passing these exams, you need to add accountability into your studying. And in the study strategy program, you get 2 weekly accountability check-ins. So twice per week, me or my team is going in there, checking on you, making sure you are held accountable. And that really makes a big difference if you want to, if you're serious about passing your exams and fitting in enough study and staying consistent. Okay, so let's get to some questions. I'll see if there's any on YouTube quickly. Try to keep your questions related to what we talked about. Okay, I don't see any related questions in YouTube. Let's go to Zoom here. Okay, so here's one. Does Exam P cover all knowledge of college level course or college level mathematical statistics course? Do you think math major undergraduate students will be more advantageous in passing Exam P? Okay, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming that your courses that you're taking include some calculus and maybe some algebra. If they do, then you're going to have a good foundation for Exam P, but you can't just rely on those courses alone. There's so many other things you need to do in order to be fully prepared for an exam. And that's a mistake that many people make, is they take courses in school and they think that's good enough, but really that learning that material is only one small part of the whole process for preparing for an exam. So you definitely need to do more, but those courses will give you a good foundation for the type of math you'll see on Exam P and FM. Okay, Ali asks, can this be used for IFM? So can the study strategy program be used for IFM? What sitting of IFM would qualify for the pass guarantee if I was to start studying the second week of April? Okay, Ali, so yes, you can join the study strategy program for exam IFM. I haven't worked with a ton of people on IFM yet. Primarily, I focus on Exam P and FM, but a lot of people in the program are passing those 2 exams and they want to move on and keep working with me for IFM. So I have actually been helping several people and results have been good so far. So if you join the second week of April, then I'd recommend the November exam sitting for you. There's also a pass guarantee for IFM of $350 because that exam is more expensive, but you do have to be in the program for at least 18 weeks in order to qualify for that pass guarantee. So for exam P and FM, you have to be in the program for at least 14 weeks, but since IFM is a more difficult exam, you have to be in the program for at least 18 weeks. But I think starting the second week of April seems like a really good time frame to be ready for November. And yes, if you guys have any questions at all about the study strategy program, I'm here now to answer your questions. Please don't hesitate. There's no silly questions. I'd love to have anyone join. So if If there's just a small thing that's holding you back, or you have a concern, or there's some reason you're hesitant to join, please let me know. I'd be happy to address them. I'm here now to answer your questions. So please don't hesitate to ask about the study strategy program. Okay. Next is, does exam P cover all knowledge? Oh, I already answered that one. So can you please explain how do the VEE exams work? How do we appear and prepare for them? Okay, so honestly, I'm not too familiar with how the VEE exams work because I never had to take them. In my courses at school, I was able to get exemptions for those exams, so I never actually had to take one. But there are courses online, I believe through maybe Coaching Actuaries, but definitely through TIA that, and ACTEX, I believe too, that have all the material that you need to know, and they have preparation courses for those exams. So I'd recommend going to those resources and learning more about them that way, because I'm not the person to ask about those. I'm not familiar with them yet. Okay. Yano asks, how long do you plan to keep this program? Before taking them, but I would love to participate later on. So I plan to keep the study strategy program for, I don't know, at least a year. I don't really have any plans on shutting it down or anything. It's doing really well. Lots of people are in the program and people love it. They get results. So I don't plan on shutting it down. I'd love to have you join the program. If you're thinking of joining soon, but you don't want to start right away, you can still purchase your 6 months with the discount, the Pi Day discount, and we can start later on. Like, we can hold your membership so that you can actually still get that really good price, and start it at a later date if you'd prefer to do that. Okay. Okay, if you have any more questions, please put them in the Q&A button, or use the Q&A button right down below the video to let me know your questions. I'm here to answer your questions right now. I have a few more minutes. So if you'd like to ask a question about the study strategy program or studying for exam P and FM, I'm here to answer them. If I don't see any more, then we'll end. I'll check YouTube here quickly. So is becoming an actuary a very chance-based job? Like, is it based on things like if I get an interview or if I'm able to find a job? Okay, so a lot of people do tend to have actually also started an actuary job search program where I help people like fix up their resume, it's as good as possible, and just really help people make a resume that's appealing to employers, and I work with them throughout their entire job search. So it is hard to find a job for some people, but I really believe that if you are committed to this career, committed to passing exams, working on your resume to make sure it's the best it can possibly be, working in some stepping stone positions, which are jobs that are similar to an actuarial career, but will help you gain experience towards your career. If you're willing to put in the effort, then you can become an actuary. Like, I really believe that. So I wouldn't say that it's a chance-based job, because if you're willing to put in the work, I'm confident that you will be able to get the job in the future. M. Delt asks, is it possible to study both exam P and FM? So I'm not sure if you're talking about particularly in the study strategy program or not. I do help people with both exams, but I never recommend preparing for both exams at the same time, because if you are really able, so most people take about 3 hours per day to prepare fully for one exam in about 14 weeks. So most people, first of all, don't have more than 3 hours to be studying for an exam If you wanted to study for 2 at the exact same time, that means you'd need about 6 hours per day, and that's just a lot of studying, and most people don't have that amount of time. But if you're in some kind of unique situation where you actually are able to study that much, I would recommend putting all your energy towards just one exam, making sure you're fully prepared for it, and then and pass that exam first before you start studying for another one. A lot of the time when people try to study for 2 at the same time, they end up putting about 50% effort into both of them, and then they get a 50% grade on both of them, and that's not good enough to pass. So just put all your energy into one. Next question is, by which date should I be studying for IFN in November? Let me check that quickly for you. So I recommend at least 18 weeks for IFM because it is a very difficult exam. The material is more difficult than for P and FM. So I have the, where is that? So my computer's going slow. Okay, so if you want to take exam IFN in November, then that means that you should join the study strategy program around or before July 21st, which would give you 18 weeks in the program. And that should be enough to be fully prepared, but you might, for every individual person is a bit different. So to be safe, I'd recommend joining at the beginning of July or maybe even a little bit earlier, just to give yourself that flexibility, so you're not feeling like overwhelmed or stressed if things don't go as planned. So maybe you need to spend a little more time in certain areas, or maybe there are certain days that you aren't going to be able to study or something. So you'll want to give yourself some flexibility. But I suggest joining at least by July 21st at the latest. Okay, let me check. Oh, okay, I have a few more questions here on the Zoom call. So Ali says, can the membership be used for your job search program after we pass the exam? Ali, yes. So the study strategy program and the job search program right now, they're kind of combined into one. So you can, I never suggest working on both of them at the same time. You should dedicate all your time to either your exam or to your job search. So I don't really suggest doing at the same time, but you can certainly move into the job search program after you've passed your first exam or your second or whatever in the study strategy program. So if you do join using the Pi Day discount today, then yes, you can certainly use that toward any remaining months towards the job search program, or you can use it towards your next exam, whether it be exam P, FM, or IFM, doesn't matter. Again, I'll put some links to the study strategy program in the chat areas with the Pi Day discount code. So remember, there's only 25 spots available. And once those are gone for the 6-month memberships, I'm not going to sell any more at that price. And prices are increasing on Monday. So right now is the best time to get in the program because you're not going to be able to get a price that low in the future. It's like almost 50% discount on what the price is going to be for 6 months in the future. So definitely take advantage of that if you're at all interested in joining. Okay, Caleb has a question here. I'm a final year actuarial science student in Ghana, and no one has a paper in my university yet. Do you think I have a chance of passing? Because honestly, no motivation at all. Of course, I think you have a chance of passing. So I'm not sure how your university or anything prepares you for the exam, but I've helped lots of people in the study strategy program pass their exam, and I'm really confident that if you're committed to passing and you really want to pass, that you're willing to put in the effort that it takes, that you can pass. It's all about having the proper structure and like the study foundation laid out for you, which you'll get with the personal schedule that you get in the program. So it's all about having that. You're going to have a group of other people that actually are working on this at the same time as you. Many people in the program have already passed an exam in the program, so they'll be able to give you advice and stuff because they're working on their second or third exam already. And you'll also just have that accountability. Consistency is so important for actuarial exams. So I certainly think you have a chance of passing. Just because no one else that you know of has passed an exam doesn't mean that you can't. Maybe they didn't have all this support and guidance that you're able to get. So certainly I do think that you can pass. Oh, and Caleb, check in the chat room there. It looks like someone would like to connect with you since they live in Ghana too. So that's awesome. Maybe you guys can meet up or study together. Okay, I don't see any more questions on Zoom. Are there any here? Okay, on YouTube, the video froze when I was answering the questions. Okay, so yes, so for IFM, if you're interested in joining the study strategy program and taking exam IFM in November, then you'd have to join before July 21st. But I highly recommend that you join a bit before that, maybe beginning of July or even a little before that, just because for some people it takes a little longer and it really helps reduce the stress on you if things don't go as planned. Maybe you get sick or you can't study for whatever reason for a few days. So just having that extra flexibility in your schedule is really helpful. And also just if like IFM is a difficult exam, there are some concepts that take time to understand. So you'll want to have lots of time to go and review those if you need to. You don't want to feel rushed if you're not understanding things. So if you join by the beginning of July, that would be great. But in order to qualify for the pass guarantee for November IFM, you'd have to be in the program by July 21st. And you can use the discount code PIDAY to get your 6 months in the program now, and we can start whenever you're ready in the future. But if you wait, prices are going to be more expensive since prices are going up on Monday. So I highly recommend you take advantage of that if you can. Okay. SF Clan asks, will your program be available around 2022 and 23? And is it smart to make actuarial science your major? I'm hoping that my program will be around in 2022 and 23, but who knows what it will look like then. It will probably be even crazier than it is now. Like it's so helpful and beneficial now, and I can't even imagine what it will be like after 2 or 3 years. Actuarial science, is it smart to take that as a major? Usually I recommend against it just because actuarial science is very narrow. You want to try to usually pick something like statistics that will allow you to get into other positions and stuff more easily if the actuarial career doesn't work for you. But there's also some advantages to taking actuarial science as your major. I recommend going to search on Google about this, and you should find my website that will tell you my thoughts on this. So just put actuarial science major, and my website should come up for that into Google. Okay. I don't see any other questions on YouTube. And are there any on Zoom? Okay, one question Ali asked, is it too late to qualify for the IFM in July? In the study strategy program, yes, it's too late because the pass guarantee cutoff has already passed for July IFM, unfortunately. Okay, I think that's all the questions. It has been so nice getting to know all of you, answering your questions. I hope this was helpful for you. I really would love to work with anyone that's studying for exam P, FM, or even IFM in the study strategy program. So tonight and tomorrow is when you can get the Pi Day discount. It'll be the last time that you can get 6 months for only $314 ever, because that's like 50% of the prices of what they're going to be next week. So monthly prices are going up to $99 per month. So you will not be able to get 6 months for only $314 ever again. And if you're not interested in joining a 6-month membership, you can still join month to month, and that will lock in your pricing. So even though prices are going up to $99 per month on Monday, you'll be locked into the $85 per month if you join today. So I'd really love to work with you. I know it can be a beneficial program for you. It's going to help you overcome all these issues that many people fall, all the traps that many people fall into. You're going to get personalized guidance, support, and mentorship from me, not just on your exam, but for your whole career. So if that interests you, I'll put in the chats one more time where you can go to get that. Use discount code PIDAY to get 6 months for $314. Okay. Bye, everyone.